All right, so we're joined now live in studio with this band who is open for D-Manic and Hello Beautiful, and that's just a few of the artists that they've opened for. So now joining me live in studio is a Toronto rock metal band, Violet Society. So guys, welcome to the program.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very
You guys
much.
have to get a little closer to the mic here. I'm going to share it with you. So we got about 5 of us in studio, 6 of us in studio here, so we're going to have to get nice and close and share this microphone. All right, guys, so let's get right into it, guys. How'd you guys all meet?
High school.
Yeah,
They all started about in high school. Yeah.
All right, and before I should mention, we should probably all go around and introduce ourselves. It'd probably be best. So let's go around the room.
My name's Phil. I play guitar.
My name's Marco. I play drums.
My name's Anthony. I play bass.
My name is James Ruzicka, and I shred the guitar.
Right on.
I'm Jay Scarmato, and together we are Violet Society.
There you go. So there's Violet Society. All right. So you guys said you met about 6 years ago in high school.
Yeah.
And what was the sort of deciding factor for you to form a band?
Really nothing. It's just our inspiration for music, right? In general, we get a real good kick out of playing our favorite songs and stuff like that. And I don't know, we just feed off each other.
I think we just got together and we realized that we were a good group of friends, and we realized it didn't want it to be just like a garage band kind of thing. So we wanted it to take it more than that because of all our influences, I guess.
Let's get into that there. What are your influences?
There is a lot.
Yeah,
to
a lot of
mention.
a range.
Yeah,
a lot
there's
of
a
range.
long
It
list.
can go from as early as Zeppelin and Black Sabbath to something as new age as like Avenged Sevenfold and Bullet for Valentine even.
Because you guys have been together for 6 years, have you noticed like your influences changing quite frequently?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
for sure.
I
There's always new bands coming out,
Mhm.
and there's always older bands that you find out about from someone that you meet, like new person that you meet.
Now, you guys went on a tour, Southern Ontario and Quebec tour, not too long ago. You finished up the Quebec portion really early February. What was that tour like?
Oh, it was awesome. We actually toured with a band called Diamonds. They're amazing. They were a great group of people.
Definitely.
They taught us a lot of great things just about the music scene in general. But yeah, we had a really good time even sharing the stage with them, and it was just a blast traveling all over Ontario.
Definitely a huge learning experience for all of us.
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure.
What sort of things did you take away from that tour, I guess, in a learning experience perspective?
I loved the energy they brought on stage every night, no matter who they were playing in front of or who was standing in front of us that night. It got pretty crazy, and I loved watching them like even feed off each other like live on stage was the best part for me.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it teaches us because then you go and do the exact same thing every single night and try to top, well, if anything, top them, right? Because you want to be where they are.
Yeah.
Does that really help them? Like, you're learning from a band that's maybe in a better position than you, and not necessarily saying that they're better, but in a better position for you. They're a little more refined at certain smaller things. So was that really helpful to just take away the small things that they did?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, for sure.
They're really, really smart people, and they really know how to manage their band like a business, which is a key factor, I think,
Absolutely.
for any band growing up nowadays. It's not just about playing shows or getting in front of showcases or anything stupid like that. Like, you know what I mean? It's really about just
Getting
turning
out there. Yeah, getting
turning
out
it
there.
into a business and just
Learning on the way,
yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Taking what you can
Taking
off every
everything.
band that you play with and
Yeah.
taking the positives.
And then at the same time, every single night, making sure you love what you're doing and make sure that
Sure.
this obviously is a band, but at the same time, it is a job. But make it what you want it to be.
With a band like as large as you guys, how do you guys sort of hand out responsibilities beyond just obviously the musical responsibilities, whether it's booking the tours or doing the social media or interacting with fans? Like, who sort of delegates those tasks, and really how does that work for you guys?
Time management.
Yeah.
A lot of it, yeah.
It's a lot of
time management. We all got part-time jobs or trying to find part-time jobs and stuff like that, but really at the end of the day, it's just time management. Just
Everybody-
knowing what you love in life.
Exactly.
A lot of it is like basically if someone's at work and they can't do something, okay, one of the other guys will take care of it for
Mhm.
this night, and then so on and so forth. We all help each other doing it.
So then is that harder for you guys because you guys are all you're all working part-time or full-time or whatever, and you're trying to book a show or you're trying to book a tour, and you gotta factor in 5 guys who are working.
Well,
How hard is that?
Well, you know what? If you tell them in advance, you let everybody know, especially who you're working for and stuff like that. You let everybody know in advance. They're not so so harsh on
Yeah,
it.
fair enough.
Yeah, exactly. It's not surprise them because then at the beginning of our jobs, like all of our jobs, we tell everybody like, listen, we're in a band, we have other prior commitments, and they're cool with that because other people have other jobs. Well,
yeah.
we also have another job, and it's this
Yeah.
band.
The best part is our guitarist James is still in high school, so to go on this tour,
16.
he had to 16 years old. He had to skip
back.
his exams, or actually
Wow.
come
Do the
back,
exams,
to
did
skip
the
2
exam.
exams and
Yeah.
come back every single night from no matter where we were. Windsor, didn't matter. 4 hours, 5 hours away. Came back every night and
Yeah.
met back up with us in the next city.
Was that hard?
Still
Was that really hard to get that permission from school?
Well, I didn't get permission because I showed up on time for the exam.
Right, fair enough. Just to let them know, was that kind of like, hey, I might be late, or?
Yeah, no, they didn't have a problem with it, but pretty much it's my whatever, just to show up on time for the exam and write it, and that's what I did. So
A lot of studying on the road then?
yeah, pretty
He
much.
let the rest of his school show that he's a rock star. He's
There
on
you go.
tour by night, and then by day he's studying his books. Right?
Yeah, there you go. That's
16
pretty
years
Gotta
old,
get her
man.
done.
Yeah.
Let's go about your tour again. What was one of the cities that really surprised you that you really enjoyed and you didn't think would really stand out to you?
I love Laval.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Everybody
Laval,
did.
Laval, Quebec was definitely
It was
a,
definitely the big
a
bang
very
in the
big
end.
bang, yeah.
Kingston, Ontario was awesome.
Yeah.
I'd have to say even Windsor. Windsor actually, I don't know.
I guess everywhere was great because we'd never been there before.
Yeah,
but at
yeah.
the same time, I think Laval was the best for us because we knew it was going to be the last 2 night shows,
Yeah.
Big Bang. You know, what I mean, we knew
had
that
great
a lot
friends
of
there anyways
yeah,
from all
exactly.
the
We
shows.
had a lot of like friends and stuff like that from down there, so I thought it was pretty cool.
Does it help? Like, I mean, was there a big crowd? Does that help in
Absolutely.
terms of gauging
Absolutely.
like who's into to your music and that sort of thing?
Yeah, for sure.
It doesn't change how you go on stage because every night, it doesn't matter if there's 4 people or 45 or even 100 people, you still bring it
Give her
just as
your
hard.
100%.
But Laval was a great turnout every single night, and it was a Friday, Saturday, so the weekend was
Party
great.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
party-
exactly.
party
Everybody's
time,
at the
for
bar
sure.
and that sort of
For
thing.
sure. Yeah.
What kind of things do you do? Sort of, I guess do you have a routine before you go on show? Is there certain things you don't do before show? Do you not go on social media? Like, is there certain little habits you guys like? We're not doing this, or we're gonna do this.
Not really. I think social media is huge for us. I think, yeah, definitely. You know what I mean?
definitely.
Anything we do, I kind of want to put it on Twitter right away. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? Because it's a great way to connect to our fans. But yeah, not really no routines. You know what I mean? We all get ready in the same sort of place and shake each other's hands.
Yeah,
like we're all today,
I guess we
you know?
just amp each other up. We all feed off of each other. So like when we all meet together and we know that like stage is in 2 minutes and like we have all our stuff set up on stage, I guess we just like we huddle around each other and we know that this is gonna be like another one of those shows and we never let it like anything, no matter what, bring us down. We just go with the flow of everything.
Now, talk to me really quickly then about some of the challenges you guys have faced as a band. You guys have been together for a long time, so I'm sure you've gone through quite a few.
A lot of it probably would be getting out more in this city or in Toronto, because we've gotten out to like Laval, we've gotten out to like Alliston, and we've gotten out just to random other cities outside of Toronto, and they seem to get into it a lot more.
Mhm.
It's harder to get around to more around Toronto, just because.
Well, we're local, right?
Yeah,
we're
we're local,
from
right?
Woodbridge, Maple,
Vaughan
wherever,
area, yeah.
wherever, so to speak. You know what I mean? So for us to even do, let's say, a local show downtown in Toronto, it's still a good 45-minute drive for us, right? So half our fans, it's like, you know what I mean?
It's tough for them to
Even
come out.
even it's a different scene.
Mhm.
So for us, we're not local from, I'd say, like the Toronto downtown.
Yeah,
area, so
yeah, fair enough.
even for us to play shows down there, for sure, you know what I mean? It's kind of like we got to take it as a whole
Yeah.
new area. You know what I mean? It's us like in Kingston, or you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Something like that.
Is it easier then for you guys to get shows in the Vaughan area?
No,
not
actually,
at all, because
Not
there's
a
no
lot of places
venues in that
There's not a lot of venues in Vaughan, yeah.
All the great
Downtown.
venues are downtown.
And then it's hard because they're always being booked, or is that sort of?
It literally, there's just no good live venues down in Vaughan. There's like we played Wags before, which is a
Stadium bar.
Right,
they,
right,
They
okay.
do something called the Rock and Brews, and we did that last year. It was during the summer. It was kind of like a 4-week event that took place, and we played a couple shows. It was really fun. You know what I mean? But
Definitely different environment for what we're used to, because we're used to
Yeah.
the live, the dark, the lights, the smokes, everything. And then there was more of a sit down and entertain sort of environment.
people have drinks.
Yeah,
people are
but,
having
so we
dinner.
pulled out a bunch of old school covers and had fun with it, right?
Was that a little weird? Was that a little weird because you used to being a little more louder? Or was that kind of cool?
Maybe more on my end. because,
Nerve-wracking at
yeah,
first.
definitely nerve wracking. Yeah, but I'm used to connecting to the crowd and just reaching out and having people jump and whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But when everyone's sitting down and just relaxing with their glass of wine, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, you gotta switch it up a
Yeah.
little bit.
Do you have to keep your levels down a little down too? Because people like
We
you know,
tried.
We had to, yeah. The
Yeah.
sound guy was he was kind of strict at first, but he loved us at the end of the day. We weren't like I don't know. There's some bands that just go in there and their volumes, they crank it up.
They
all
do
the
what they
way.
want, yeah.
You got. I think you need to listen to what that venue wants, and it's that guy behind the soundboard or whatever that really kind of, I don't want to say that makes the magic, but you know what I mean. He hears the
He
overall
sounds-
sound.
Yeah.
Keeps you in level, yeah.
He's dictating
Absolutely.
how loud you can be and
Absolutely.
stuff like that.
Exactly. But we have to be a good point that obviously we can hear ourselves as well too. You know.
We touched on social media. I'm going to ask it again because you guys have been around for 6 years. You guys have sort of seen it really sort of explode. I guess what's is it hard to manage? Is it what's the hardest part about managing social media? Because everybody has it. And there's 30 different things you can have.
Exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
nowadays on like literally we all have iPhones except for him who has a Galaxy. So like all of our
That's
smartphones
James.
can like literally connect to all the social medias in one shot.
Yeah.
So it's become a lot easier. I remember back when we started, or like even before that, it was only kind of like MySpace.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
really
Mhm.
couldn't hear
If that, yeah.
if that, you know. So
Maybe it
to
gets
have
easier.
all these outlets to actually put out and actually get to, and all have it all on my phone.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier now. It's not
It's like
not that hard at
personal
all.
account.
Yeah.
Is it which is your favorite social media avenue to use the most?
Twitter.
I'd say
Twitter.
Twitter as well.
Because Twitter, you can reach out so easily.
It's
and
quick.
just
Very,
spam
very quick.
As much as you can.
That's how we've met like a lot of our fans. We have fans down in like Brazil. We have fans in like
Yeah.
Norway or like Sweden.
Shade Axe Angel.
Yeah.
Shout outs.
So if you guys are just tuning in, we have Violet Society, live on Radio Nation. And if you have questions for them, you can tweet me at @radio_nation, and I'd be happy to read any questions. Obviously, keep them appropriate, and most people are very good about doing that. Although I've seen some really bizarre questions out there in the past, so just try to keep it appropriate, guys, and we'll read the best questions on Twitter. All right, so let's talk about your song "Eyes of Lies" because it's a really good song, and I really like it. What was sort of the inspiration behind that song?
Inspiration. That was actually our first song we ever wrote together as a band way long ago, and it sounds a lot different. Sounds a lot different now than it did back then. But you can see, well, from our end, how much we've grown from it. But really, it's about. You know what? I'm gonna say you can take it as it is because everyone has their own personal meaning.
I think that song
So.
really, it was one of those songs that helped us find our sound. We've experimented before with other different songs and stuff like that, and all of our songs really do sound different. We take a different toll for each one, but yeah, it's just it was one of those songs that really helped us find who we were and not really stay in that sort of section, but. We love the song as well, and we love playing it live. It gives us a good feeling, and we strive off of that for sure.
It's also the first song that brought us to obviously to where we are now, you know, playing, you know, tours and stuff like that, and playing a bunch of shows, doing recordings, and also being here on the air too. So we realized that that's our, you know, main hit.
We got a music video coming out for that song next
This Saturday?
week. Yeah, should be out soon.
Let's talk about your writing process for a bit and what sort of things that are influence you to write music, and what sort of thing do you sort of hear a beat before stuff, or how does that work for you guys?
Take that, James. Go for it.
Well, there's two different processes, right? There's either the musical process or there's the lyrical process. But whichever one comes first, really, you feed off that because that really sets the tone for the song. At times, it's the guitarists that come back and they bring a riff, and it's just like, wow, okay, we gotta get started on this. And so we get the drums involved, and as they're working, I just get an idea and just get a feel, and just how the lyrics even should come out and how I would even want to talk about. It could even be personal or it can be worldwide issues. It ranges really, but
Just how everything comes together, like, you know,
Mhm.
off a basic riff and just, you know, like throwing drums and
Absolutely.
just
Mhm.
everything comes together like very
Yeah.
flowy.
Just a lot of playing around, kind of.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
we feed off each other, like
comes
100%.
fast. It comes
Yeah.
fast.
So it's a lot of playing around, and then at the same time, I realize even before we start writing, I realize like what have we been listening to lately? I realize that we have a big following for our influences, and I not to say like that we take what they give, like, you know what I mean, like rip off any riffs or anything like that, but like we have a strong hold on our influences. So it's like, what are we listening at the time will kind of give us a feel for what style we want to write, whether it be like thrash, whether it be like very mellow, very groovy kind of metal. You know, I guess it just ranges.
Even like the new couple songs that we've been working on, it's the same thing, right? Like I know James brought back a couple riffs, and same with me, and we really just we build off of that. We put them together and we just take it from there, and I think it's awesome. It's awesome the chemistry that you could really see between even like the two guitarists in general. I think it's so wicked. Just even to see what he comes up with it's wild for me, man, definitely. And our band's taken a new direction, but it's a crazy thrash metal, heavy sort of side to
Groove,
Violet
yeah.
Society. Yeah.
And especially James not being in the band for long, like you can see how quickly adapted to everything, and like how much of a connection we have with him, and like how him and Phil work together so like just so cleanly. Yeah, like they read each other's minds. You guys feed off each other. I think it's pretty nuts that way.
Is it hard being a metal band in the GTA in general, because the metal's not exactly a mainstream scene per se as obviously pop or rock or
Absolutely.
so what sort of things do you guys do to really not just to say set yourself apart, but really just to get noticed?
For us, right, I go back to the influences because we all have separate influences, but yeah, our main ones are mainly, let's say, not, I wouldn't say radio friendly, but more to the pleasing to the ear, to all ears.
Mhm.
So when we do come out with a song, and even I'd say even from my voice, because it won't be the deep and the very heavy stuff that not a lot of people love. It can go with everything, because there is a singing. Like even on our first album, we were gonna do singing and screaming, so you can definitely attack a lot of different ears. So it's not really the metal coming out and trying to stand out in the metal zone. It's really being different in all genres and just standing out yourself. Yeah.
And I guess then how important is that? I mean, obviously there's other metal bands in the GTA or just in general. Is that important for you guys to really sort of establish yourself and say we're not just metal, but we can have a bit of we have our own unique sound?
Right. I think it's very important. Even as a band, you don't want to corner yourself. We kind of talk like that all the time, and it's not. I don't want to say like, oh, we're not a metal band, because obviously this is what we do, and our songs will always stay heavy, and they will always be heavy. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's like even with our music, like let's say our choruses or anything like that, we try to think very different. Don't keep such a broad, narrow mind. Keep very open.
And then when people think automatically when we tell people, oh, like we're a metal band, I don't like hate telling people we're metal, but like I like to tell them that we're a very like metal groove band, that like because a lot of people nowadays just think, oh, heavy metal, you're just a thrash metal, you know what I mean, like oh, you're just screaming. But if you think about like the bands back then, like heavy metal was as early as Zeppelin and Black Sabbath, and nobody was screaming then, you know what I mean. So we have a lot of those like big influence, even like Motley Crue, Skid Row, Poison. Like a lot of those bands really influenced us, not just because they were just heavy, right? But at the same time that they had that very heavy, somber tone to them, but at the same time very straightforward.
One thing I wanted to ask a little earlier as well is you mentioned you got a lot of influences, and it's you're not, you mentioned obviously you're not trying to copy what they're doing, but how hard is it to not take a riff or try to sound different, but there's so many other musicians that are out there that have done similar things or different things.
I'll give you a good example. When I brought back a riff the other day, and it was the funniest thing because James came back to me, he's like, listen, that sounds like a Bob Marley song, and I didn't know what to think, and like to think of that comment, you know what I mean? I sat down with the riff for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whenever it was, and finally I got it. I'm like, fuck, it does sound like a Bob Marley song, you know what I mean? And I don't know, it's as simple as that. Like, you know what I mean? A metal riff could sound like a Bob Marley riff. Like, it's different.
It depends on the way that you perceive it too, right? Like if somebody from the outside were to hear that and say that's like a Bob Marley riff, I think that's pretty rad, because it's like that's not what we were aiming for at all.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So it's like, all right, you take it the way.
You pull out a Bob Marley thing from my riff.
Exactly.
I find that it is.
I'll take it exactly.
Is it hard though not to say that you're purposely copying them, but just be like, oh, to not accidentally rip off someone else? Or
I wouldn't say so, no, because like really we just keep a clear path of what we're trying to do, not really focus on what other bands are trying to do. Again, we do listen to a lot of music, and we just take the best things from those music, or like from each band or whatever we're listening to at the time, like these guys were saying. But yeah, it's not necessarily about just copying, it's just learning what they do, like, you know what I mean, how they act as a band,
and using it in your own way,
the steps they take to become so successful.
Let's talk about where you guys sort of see yourselves in the next year. So you mentioned you got the ball rolling. You really feel like you're on a good path right now. Where do you sort of see yourself this time next year?
This time next year, I would love to see us be playing a lot of shows all over the place, any place we possibly can. Really, like I said, our focus right now, we're putting out a music video next week, which should be pretty awesome. We're going to do it for I've Lies. After the music video, we're going straight towards the single, so the single should be out before summer. And
hopefully, depending
we'll be
on
playing
everything.
a lot of shows for the summer, but yeah, even as of next year, I have no idea. But I would love to see us playing a lot of shows, like all over the place.
Back on the road,
yeah,
absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because this year's really settling in, learning from what we have so far, and building. on music-wise and even just business-wise, and then we can get back on the road and really start pushing.
Yeah.
It's the hardest part about, operating as a business too. You guys are musicians, and you got a business to run. What's the hardest part and most challenging part about that? Because you guys obviously don't have a label helping you, you don't have a PR group helping you, you don't have any of that sort of stuff.
I don't even think about it being like a hard,
not.
something hard to us, because like then when people
We
say,
enjoy it.
exactly right, we take it and make it our own. Like we know that we don't have a label, we know that we don't have like like a signing or anything like that, and that doesn't put us down in the slightest. We push even harder, if anything, because we know that in the end, if somebody like that approaches us, it's because of our individuality and what we've been doing without them. You know what I mean? Like it's not like we need you ASAP. You know what I mean? Like we're doing fine on our own, and we enjoy doing what we do on our own.
Relationships are huge as well.
Absolutely.
Relationships with other bands like Diamonds, for
Shout
instance.
outs.
Yeah,
Bar
definitely,
owners,
man.
everywhere that we go to, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Have
man,
a good
definitely.
meeting.
It's always good, just like I said, just become friends with people and take what you can. You know what I mean?
From a non-music perspective, I guess, from someone who's never been in a band, never done well at playing an instrument. Let's be honest here. The last instrument I played was in grade 8, so let's be totally from somebody. So for somebody from that perspective, how important is it to form those relationships? Does that help you when they're booking shows? They say, oh, hey, we got this band that might be a good fit for the show as well. They seem to work well with us. Is that important too?
Yeah, I think it is really important. We've gone through like a little crazy little time right now. We played like 15 shows with like a bunch of different bands. Some of them were really great. But it was weird because we were playing shows with bands that didn't sound the same as us, and then it was like from pop bands that use
synthesizers and such. Yeah, to like
to acoustic acts to
rap
like
artists.
Rap to death metal. Like it ranged so much that it just didn't become a show anymore. It was more of a showcase, and that totally takes away from the whole experience.
It does. For your fans and as well as the band, because you go there at the end of the day and you want to enjoy yourself, right? Like the whole night is really, you amp yourself up for that one time you're on stage.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Or let's say if the band's playing that night, the headliner, whatever it is, you're looking forward to that last set throughout the whole night. And with the showcase, or you're playing with 10 bands, you're not looking forward to that last act. Like, you know what I mean? You'll go there at 6 o'clock, you'll watch the band from 6 to 6:30, and then everybody will leave the venue. And it takes away from the whole live experience or just having fun.
It's frustrating.
Yeah, it's frustrating. It's happened to us multiple times, and it's like not even
Done
like
with that,
it's,
though.
yeah, we're done with that. We've done
Thanks,
it before, and we've learned from that.
Right.
We've learned to never trust anybody else and just do it ourselves, because when we actually do it ourselves and we actually like invite the people ourselves and don't rely on other bands to do it ourselves, we usually get a packed show, right? It's not like a dead show, and it's usually a packed show all night because we stay all night. Sometimes bands have actually come, played their show, and then left, and their entire crowd is left, and it's left the whole venue empty. And that's just a piss off for the other bands.
Is that one of the biggest pet peeves for any band?
I guess depending on what show you're playing too. Like if you know that it's an early show and everybody gets there for like load in at 5 o'clock, and then you end up playing at 12:30 and nobody's there. Kind of like, well, I've been sitting around for like 6 hours. You know what I mean?
I think even some bands expect too much. They expect the magic carpet ride to the top, and I don't think it's gonna happen with any band out there. You
No
gotta,
freebies.
Yeah, you gotta work hard for what you do, and for any band to just truly believe that one show is gonna make or break you, or even getting on shows like that and just getting frustrated. I don't know. You shouldn't be there in the first place.
Is there such a thing as a bad show? And I only mean that by like, we shouldn't have booked this show. This wasn't the right fit. We accidentally, we're on with a country artist, a pop artist, and a rap artist, and one other rock band, and it's like it would have been better off to not do that. Or is it just like, you know what? Who cares? It's a show. It's practice. Doesn't matter.
We've done it. I think we're learning off
Lots
of
of
it.
times,
Yeah, but we don't mind it.
Because we still
In
find
the
there's
end,
4
yeah.
or 5 people in the crowd that love
That
us
doesn't
and come
mind,
up to
yeah,
us.
exactly.
In the
Buy a
end,
CD,
any
buy
press is good
Getting
press.
fans.
So like, if we
Yeah.
can get out there, it doesn't matter
Yeah.
whether it's a good show or it's a bad show. We're still gonna kill it.
Yeah, we're gonna have a good time doing it. So that just shows off to the crowd, and it just brings them in and even draws them back out next time we come back to town.
Yeah, whether we're there and people are there to heckle us, or whether people are there to mosh to our music and jump around. Actually, it's what I mean. It's just good publicity. It's true, right?
Yeah.
It's awesome.
You can't complain because I know so many people, so many new fans that have come, let's say, to a showcase and saw us, and then come back 4 or 5 times after just because they saw us that once. So it's a learning experience, but you definitely got to go through it.
Fair enough. Now, we just talked about, where you guys want to be in a year's time, and you mentioned sort of short term. Any really big plans for the summer? Is there anywhere you'd really like to perform that you haven't performed yet?
We're trying really hard to get on the North by Northeast Music Festival. Also trying to get on the Burlington Music Festival. We got some plans down in Wasaga. Hopefully they all come through. It's just I don't want to say they're long shots, but we're going for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So hopefully we get the emails back, and we'll see what's up with that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right now, mostly just concentrate on the music.
I'm looking forward to those shows for sure because they're really big festivals, and
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, it'd be really awesome just to get on a stage like that. I think all these guys deserve it just as much as.
I think we all deserve it, not being cocky or anything like that, but like at the point that we are now, I think it's right for us to go show people in festivals. Yeah, exactly, who we are at festivals
we
like
can
that.
perform at that level.
Yeah, exactly, that we can, and we have, we're up to date and we're up to par with whoever's there to watch us or to perform with us. You know what I mean? I don't think it's going to be a challenge or anything like that. I think we just got to walk up there confidently and hope for the best.
With booking venues like Burlington Music Festival and North by Northeast, what sort of is it hard because do you have an idea of what they're looking for, or is it really just kind of like a crapshoot, like you put your stuff in and just pray that there's someone out there that really wants you on?
I'm a first timer on this, so I have really no idea. We'll see what happens. I've just got some emails from some friends and I've sent some out, and I know even for some of the festivals there's also submissions, so you do need to pay like the $10 or $15 or whatever it is, but like I said, I'm a first timer at it, so we'll see what happens.
It may not be Warped Tour, but I mean at the same time, like, we're so excited just to be anywhere near like a stage like that. You know what I mean? Like I said, I think it's very different.
Well, hey, any chance you can get to perform, right? Like you guys said, it's
Exactly,
probably
that's
worth
what I'm
it.
saying.
So,
Definitely.
I'm gonna take some questions off Twitter in a moment as well, but I just want to ask some sort of fun questions. If you could perform anywhere in the world, doesn't matter where, your dream place to perform, where would it be?
I would have to say, honestly, just because I think, and everybody can agree on this, just because of our like influences and stuff like that, and like the type of music we grew up listening to, I think Japan would be really gnarly.
Yeah,
just because like the metal,
It's gonna be fun.
yeah, and like the '80s uprising we were brought from, I think Japan would be awesome, just so that we can go over there and just shred people's faces off.
I
Walk
said
on a Komodos,
Yeah. I said the other day, no one better steal my idea, but I really want to get our band in a glass box and a crane to lift us up.
right.
And I want to do a music video in a glass box. It's kind
Everyone.
of like the U2 thing and the AC/DC thing, but a whole different hardcore tool to it.
That's
So,
awesome.
Definitely want to pull it off one day.
Go ahead.
I think I definitely would actually want to play Download in the Europe there.
Oh, yeah.
That would be
Yeah.
my biggest kind
Europe has a huge
get onto the one of
LNG.
that.
Shoot.
A lot of our influences have played down there, and a lot of them.
Europe's got the metal
have
fans.
Yeah,
Germany-
Germany
Germany-
definitely has the metal.
He's
fans.
right,
What's that ratio that you were talking about?
Oh yeah, in Finland, it was. I think there's like 5 million people who live in Finland, and 3 million of them are metalheads.
Metal.
That's really crazy.
Yeah.
And I guess a lot of outside people, like I guess when I think of Europe and metal, I just think Germany is my first thought.
Yeah.
But you never really, I guess you wouldn't expect Finland. That's really cool. Like
Yeah.
it's, I guess for the average listener, you wouldn't think Finland's a heavy metal scene, but that's cool. What's the Canadian metal scene like? I mean, we've only ever had one other metal band on this program before. So what's the scene overall like? Is it growing? Is it being more accepted? Not to say that it wasn't before, but it's obviously not as mainstream as country or pop.
I think that's what we're here to do, to make it more
Yeah.
accepted, just so that like all those people that we tell that like, hey, metal, it's not like their rendition of, oh, it's just it's like yeah, exactly,
crap
like
drops or
yeah, like everything's like has to be 808 blast, or everything has to be like constant chugging and screaming and stuff like that. We're here to show that like metal isn't like that. We're gonna be bringing it back to the days where heavy metal was
Shred.
yeah, it was just very shred. It was very Metallica. It was very Pantera. It was very Motley Crue. Like it's all about attitude, aggression, attitude,
I think the current metal scene is very, very narrow and very one.
and underground.
I'd say where it's growing the most though, and I bet you guys could agree. Barry for sure. Barry,
yeah,
Alliston.
Alliston for
we
sure.
tapped Alliston maybe 2 or 3 times, and the fans are really great. They love us, and it was really fun playing where we did.
Absolutely.
Barry, same thing, man. The kids are different. It's a small town. It's very easy to advertise a show, and it's a really great place.
And I
to
think
play.
that's what they love about it too, the fact that like we come up to them and like like they're not huge towns either, right? So getting back to the underground
Yeah,
scene,
exactly.
they know what they love to hear, and like hearing that we're coming to them and we get to play a night, a couple hours for them, they just appreciate it that much more, right?
Is it easier to book smaller towns?
Yeah, because usually the bar that we play at is like the only bar that in the town, right? So everybody has to go there anyways. And they all and Alston,
Cutie.
they all know us down at the Coyote Cutie. Like they love us down there. By
Yeah, I
name.
saw you guys played a few times there. Just
Yes, all of them. All of them are fucking cuties. They get there it is.
Let's get to some.
The first drop.
First F-bomb.
That's okay. It happens. Trust me, it does happen.
F-bomb.
Let's get to some questions here off Twitter. This one comes from Vivian. If you
Vivian.
if you could choose to tour with a couple of bands dead or alive, who would they be?
Oh man.
Can I say the first one? I don't know.
Yeah,
I
go
really
for it,
want
Jay.
to say like Avenged Sevenfold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
System of a
Yeah.
Down.
System
No,
of a Down,
definitely System of a
absolutely.
Down.
James, say
Was it
one.
long shots?
I need to meet Tommy Lee. Molly Crew, I'd
That
say.
would be pretty awesome.
Iron Maiden.
Yeah, Maiden.
Yep.
There's a lot of
me-
them.
My biggest influence and like huge band that I would love to play with would be Lamb of God. Yeah. Huge. I would love to play with Lamb of God
I'd
and
love
just
to tour with Escape to Fate. We met
Escape
those
to
guys.
Fate
They
too,
came
yeah.
to town. They were really great guys. And that'd be fucking super.
Escape
cool.
to Fate, there's Black Veil Brides, there's Atreyu, Venge
Oh.
Sevenfold, like we said.
and Protest the Hero. I'd love to play a show with Protest the Hero.
We met them before, very cool dudes.
Diamonds.
Diamonds, of course.
Diamonds,
Get
yeah,
back on another tour
Yeah,
with
we'd
them.
love
that
to
was
get on
awesome.
another tour with Diamonds. Those guys were cool.
Yeah, that was really fun.
Gonna get to some more questions off Twitter here. I saw another one. This one comes from Marina. She wants to know what your favorite food is to eat.
Pizza.
Oh man, I don't know. Should we say the favorite tour food? McDonald's.
Poutine. Poutine.
I love
That's all we
pineapple.
ate. Pineapple's good. No,
I don't even know what to say. There's just so much food in the world. Everything's edible, you know,
Well, to be perfectly honest, yeah, there you go.
for a living.
To be perfectly honest, we all kind of cook in the band, and Jay is actually our home cook. He actually went to school for it and
Culinary.
everything,
Very
so
cool.
Very unfortunate. On my
he
part.
cooks us many different things.
Hey, it's a good life skills, and girls like that, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
there you go. I'm just going to pull a couple more questions here on Twitter. So if you do have a question for Faust Society, you can tweet us at Radio_Nation. Be on air for another 5 minutes or so. All right, so let's do some fun questions. We like to do that. What is your favorite Disney movie of all time? It's a question we ask mostly
Wow,
everybody that
Disney
comes on.
Toy Story.
Nightmare Before
Hands
Christmas.
down.
No, that's a good one.
Nightmare Before Christmas
Nightmare
is
Before
also a great
Christmas.
one.
I mean,
like,
Jack Skellington.
Small Soldiers.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Small Soldier was a
Can't
dope
think of
one.
one right now.
Absolutely nothing.
Fair enough.
I'd say the Goofy movie as well. I'd say I said Toy Story because it was like the first movie that I've ever seen as a child in the theater. So like I remember like it was a pain to bring me in there. Like my dad said I was freaked out of my skull just because I was so young. But yeah, it stuck with me.
This is another question from Vivian. She wants to know if you like turtles, which is pretty
I
awesome.
used to have two
Um,
turtles.
Snapping turtles,
I
yeah.
had a pet rat before. That's about it. And I have a dog.
I got a dog named Russ.
Actually, one of the studios we went to had two turtles walking around while we were recording and stuff on the floor.
2 dogs, 2 studios.
I think I kicked him twice,
That
but
is so random.
I swear to
Tell
God,
me
he had
about-
2 dogs and 2 turtles, and all of them would just run around. It was like a zoo. It was like a zoo. Just
Was
to
that hard to
record.
record then? Just
It
'cause
was
I
because
remember when I was doing vocal tracks and the dog.
yeah, the dog was going for an hour, just wouldn't stop barking.
It's the last thing we needed recording on a time frame, you know?
Yeah.
Let's get into that actually really quickly. Let's talk about how hard is it to find a recording studio in Toronto that's within an affordable price range that's got good hours and good availability.
Very hard.
It's very hard. It's definitely very hard, but
There's a lot of great studios.
yeah, no, there's definitely a lot of great
But
studios.
it's
It's
hard to
just
choose.
it's hard to choose
Yeah.
what actually fits our budget and also our time frame.
Who works the best with you?
Exactly, and who also works the best with us, the
It
artists.
can be not the greatest studio, but the guy you're working with himself just knows the music and knows what exactly you're thinking, and that just makes the biggest difference.
It's good then to have somebody that's they worked with other bands like other metal bands. It doesn't really matter who they've worked with as long as they understand who you are.
It helps if they've worked with more metal bands, just because sometimes
Meet us more eye to eye on that sense.
they can meet us more eye to eye.
Okay.
They know what we're kind of talking about, but sometimes even if they've never done it before, they kind of want to explore, so they'll be willing to try new things, and they will listen to us full heartedly. So again, it's kind of goes either way.
Fair enough. That let's talk about your album really quickly. Your self-titled album it came out in September.
Yeah.
What was some of the challenges coming up with the album?
Recording was huge. It took us a little while to just record it. The process of it was pretty massive. We went through a bunch of things like pre-production. We did metronomes for all the songs, and then after that we did the ghost tracks, and then from the ghost tracks we did the drums.
drums we were in another studio, so like everything was kind of, I don't want to say scattered, but I mean
step for step, really.
yeah,
Like it wasn't really I'd say 5 of us in a room recording even different things at the same time. It was none of that. We kind of like, we had our own month to do things. Drums were 1 month, bass same thing, guitar same thing. It was just like, it was a really long process, and even for the next time, like or even the single that we got coming out, we're gonna make sure we get it out really quick, that there won't be any of that long haul behind what we're doing.
And I think we know a lot more from our first experience. Even though we didn't go in there and record an album, I think it kind of kicked our asses learning to play, or focusing to play on a metronome, or getting things like real tight, and making sure everything's pitch perfect in the editing process.
Just live.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I was just going to ask, I mean, you guys sort of touched on it, but I mean, what sort of things did you really take away from that experience that'll help you with your next album or your next, production of a single or whatever?
Just being tight and being prepared. That's what it's all about.
Being prepped, like definitely prepped way in advance, just so that we know when we go in there, we're not like, like I said before, like obviously we're going to go in there with a lot more confidence now, but I think going in there now is going to be a lot more easier for us. We just got to prep a couple things more in advance, a lot more things to be written out, a lot more things to talk about, even as a band and stuff like that.
Is that so you're not in there wasting time, or you're in there
To a
just
certain
working
extent,
on
yeah.
what you've got to, what you've got to do, okay, this is what we got to do today, and suppose it's just like,
Almost
okay,
like an agenda kind of thing.
Yeah.
Even the past 5 years, we had our songs recorded, but not to this quality. Even if we want better, but like I said, not to this quality. And even hearing it back, it did help us. I think every band should try their hardest to get their songs recorded and listen to yourself over and over again, because the more you listen to your song, the more things you could pick out, and just things to improve on. Nothing too bad, you know what I mean? But
You will always be your hardest critic. I
Right.
think we've all learned that in the 6 years of this band. Every instrumentalist and every musician is their hardest critic, but make sure that you know that everything that you put out, somebody out there will like, and that somebody out there will appreciate what you do. So never stop doing what you love doing, and that's pretty much what we live by every day.
people will connect to you, no matter how different you are. I've always said it, you know what I mean? It's weird. Like, the world's huge.
couple questions off of Twitter here. I really like this one, and it was one that I actually had written down, but it's a great one. It comes from Daniela, and she wants to know, how did you guys come up with the name Violet Society?
Go for it.
I mean, it happened a while back. Like, it started in high school. Like I said, at the time we were just kind of jamming as 4 or 5 friends, you know what I mean? And then it came to like, okay, well, we're not just going to be a garage band. We need to get a name together. And like Violet Society came through like just a bunch of like certain names that we looked through and stuff like that, like things that caught our eye. And like Violet Society, we all voted on it. I forgot exactly how it came up. I think it was actually Phil. He like called me one night and he laid it out on me. He just like, it's gonna be Violet Society. And then like I'm like, what is, like, where did you come up with this? And like gave me a whole like kind of speech on like what society means to us nowadays, and like how like everybody's always pointing fingers at everybody else. So like underneath everything, it may seem like everything might be okay on the outside, but like underneath it all, it's like, it's a very shady, Violet Society. Everybody's like kind of always pointing fingers, and it doesn't have to be that way. Just take take responsibility for what you do, I guess.
One of my favorite songs, even back then when I was a kid, is called "Stealing Society" by System of a Down. It's I don't want to say it's a whack job song or something like that, but Darren Malakian is a really huge influence on me, and everything in that song I really related to, and I strived off of "Stealing Society."
Yeah.
And Violet came.
Violet,
So,
the color violet just explains itself. Whatever you think the color violet is, just
Like if you look up Violet, the name Violet in like a dictionary, it gives you like a list of like just
a bunch of things, yeah.
bunch of different things that if you really think about what our band has went through and like kind of the things that we've overcome and like become stronger over, it's like it's kind of eerie in a sense.
This is a good question from Marina as well, and she wants to know who has influenced you the most in your life, whether it is musically or personally.
Like I said before, Darren Malakian is huge on me. He's a really great musician. Not only does he play guitar, but he writes like 95% of the System of a Down songs. He's great.
I think individually we all have different influences and stuff like that. Mine would be Jimmy the Rev Sullivan from Avenged Sevenfold. He kind of took what I knew from metal back in like the 70s and 80s and twisted it 7 ways from Sunday and taught me how to play double bass drums, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess for me, when I was a kid, I used to really listen to Sum 41, and that was my biggest influence back then when I was growing up. And their bassist Cone, he was always the wild one, even though he seemed like he was kind of picked on. He was the quiet one, but he was really the loud one and always having fun. So that was really a big influence on me to actually, the way I move on stage and the way kind of like I hold myself towards the mic. It's kind of like I'm influenced by him. So that was pretty cool when I grew up with him.
My influence would be my dad. He was in
Malicious Intent.
1989 a thrash band called Malicious Intent. Look it up.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Hashtag
he,
metal.
Yeah, I look up to him because he introduced me to metal and pretty much my life, And I always liked the guitar, and he helped me. He bought the guitar for me, and I learned. He taught me in the beginning, and he supported me through all of my life and the whole way. So
Still does too.
Yeah.
He comes with us all over the place. He travels to every single one of the shows. Helps us out with merch. He's even
the band
for the
father,
couple
yeah.
months that he's been here, I could just tell, like we all could tell how big of an influence he is on James, and it's wicked to see even from an outside view. I think it's inspiring for all of us.
Especially because like our families aren't big on music,
Right.
everybody comes from obviously a loving family, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. And that's not what I'm getting at, but what I'm getting is that not a lot of parents love hearing the fact that their kids want to be rock stars for the rest of their life or learn an instrument. Everybody just thinks, oh, that's a hobby, but people make hobbies out of skateboarding and stuff like that, and people can achieve those great lengths in life, you know what I mean? So why can't you do it with music, especially expressing the way you feel through music,
Yeah, people misunderstand.
Absolutely, and that's why
point of view,
we're glad that even Herman understands and James' dad understands the fact that
He was in the same shoes.
Yeah, exactly. From an outsider's point of view, but outsider being still within the the kind of the circle of understanding what music is.
Malicious Intent.
Yeah, even I think all of our parents, although some of them might not be completely into it as much as Herman would be, just because Herman was in the band, he's the metal of the band. But they've always kind of like had our backs, and if we absolutely needed it, they'd give us the car or they'd give us some cash if we needed to. So they've always been there. They've always kind of supported us. But it's definitely good to have Herman as a little bit of a help, because he's been in the business before, so he kind of helps us out. Okay, maybe you should do this, or maybe you should.
For sure.
Not even music wise, also even business wise.
He's a
There
hard
you go.
hitter.
Yeah.
He's definitely a hard
He's
critic.
honest.
I know
He's
he's
very
smiling
honest.
while
He's
he's listening.
he's listening to this right now, smiling. But he's
It's good to have
Definitely
somebody
hard
like that who's been around in the business and knows something, especially for somebody you guys, because you guys are independent. So it really that really helps.
Like there's so many opportunities that jump up in front of us, and we're like, okay, let's do it, and then he's the one that's like, okay,
Settles us down
what's-
kind of thing.
What's
and
the
Relax,
justification about
Yeah.
it? I mean, take a look back. Is it in writing? It's very smart the way he does.
from a business point of view, yeah.
We're still kids. I mean, we're still we're so amped on life, and sometimes you do need to settle back and really kick into reality, especially with this business.
A lot of people promise you and offer you gold, and you think it's the craziest thing in the world, and meanwhile it sucks. You know what I mean? When reality comes down to it. So, I don't know.
It's like, let's
Yeah.
face it, what do you do when a baby gets put, like candy in front of them? They automatically take it because that's what their instincts are, right? Like, I'm not saying like we don't know the business at all, but like Jay was saying, we're still kids. So like, if we do see something that's glittery and glam like that, you know what I mean? Like, we're gonna definitely like walk over to it like a curious little mouse,
Yeah, there's a lot of bullshit in the music industry,
Absolutely.
so gotta keep your eyes out for that.
Gonna get down to just two more questions here. We're getting kind of tight on time, but this one comes from Danielle as well, and she wants to know just like how often do you guys jam and where? You don't have to share where, but she asked it, so
Confidential.
yeah, fair enough, and I understand that entirely.
VSHQ. That's where we jam.
VSHQ.
It's got a pool table, a bar, a fireplace says Kanata.
It's actually
Castle.
in the depths of
Located on Cloud 9.
located on Cloud 9 and in the depths of a pirate ship,
Yeah.
pretty much.
But how we get there, I don't know. We take our flying trucks,
Yeah,
whatever.
we-
But
we
four
fly.
times a week.
However you would think that we get there, we get there.
We normally try for about 4 times a week. Sometimes the week is a little busy. One of us has work or something like that. But we definitely try for at least 4. Maybe if we have a show coming up, we'll jam every day, kind of thing. So it depends
Just so
on
we
what's
make sure
coming up.
everything's
Like
tight, yeah.
We're constantly writing new things. I know James always calling me and tells me to get myself over there so he can teach me some new things and start working on the new material, which is awesome.
Final question tonight is: how do people find you on social media and on the internet?
They love us because we actually answer them, unlike other bands.
Yeah.
I think.
We
Yeah,
have Twitter.
we're
have
one with
Facebook,
our-
Connect to the
Instagram.
fans, you know.
We try and answer, like, you know, we've had people tweet us and actually ask us questions, and, you know, we'll actually take the time to turn around and answer them. And a lot of these people have turned around and actually said, you know what, you've actually turned my life around. Like, I've listened to your music, and it's really changed my life, and it's helped me in a
hearing
better
that,
way.
I've heard that a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah.
And just that enough is just like, I mean, you're doing the job. You're doing
what you
meant
love.
to do.
You're doing what you love.
And it just pushes you to do even more.
I look for even like what was the initial question? Was it how do you find?
Yeah, like, so if somebody's listening, they've never heard you before. You know, how do they get a hold of you on Twitter? Whether it's your Twitter handle or your Facebook.
Find us. Like,
Yeah,
find
I
us.
think,
okay.
But that was cool. That was a good. I really liked that. I really liked your answer. So it was good.
Yeah, but even as of that, just look for bands that sound like you or whatever, and start looking at their tweets and see what's up.
Yeah.
you know.
Just constantly keep posted. If you finally find us on Facebook and Twitter and stuff like that, just keep posted with what we do, and we won't disappoint. Because, like I said, there will always be somebody out there that enjoys
Always
our
posting.
music. Yeah, exactly.
Check out our Facebook page, Facebook/Violet Society. Instagram is just Violet Society.
It's at Violet Society,
At
yes.
Violet Society.
Twitter
Twitter's
is
at Violet Society
13.
YouTube channel. If you look us up on YouTube, you could catch all of our music on YouTube. We got a
videos.
couple live videos. We're gonna be updating it constantly, so just stay posted.
Yeah, and keep looking for that music video that is going to be coming up.
Right.
This
Music
side.
video should
Expect
be,
the unexpected.
And also, before we cut it short, we also have a show coming up April 19th at the Hard Rock Cafe at Dundas Square. So that's going to be a real cool
That's
one.
awesome.
We're going to make the jump from playing some dark venues downtown to like Dundas Square, pretty much, Young and Dundas. So
We're gonna
miss
bring it-
it.
we're gonna bring
keep
it down.
posted on that as well.
If anybody knows Toronto Batman, please let them know. We will be
Yeah,
there.
Toronto Batman, we're trying to find you.
Yeah. Well, guys, I want to thank you very much for taking the time to come in tonight. I'm
Thank
sure you
you
guys
very
all have busy schedules, so thanks a lot for coming in. So before we go, of course, we're going to play your song, Eyes of Lies. So here it is. You're listening to Radio Nation. Tweet us at Radio_Nation.